Hello all, Dr. Groovy here, Scott Grove of GroovyMusicLessons.com. I had a request a couple days ago and I filled it. A friend asked me to do some stuff where you could play rhythm and lead stuff kind of on top of each other, and how to do those quick little lead fills that are right in between vocal lines. You know, so you got a little break in the vocal and you just put down little 3, 4, 5, 6 note phrases. And I did it basically along the classic rock type of feel. Today I'm going to do the same thing to continue honoring his request for such things, and also include his original request of being able to also do some lead work as we're playing rhythm. Okay, so you never actually stop playing rhythm guitar. You keep strumming the chords and playing lead at the exact same time, so nothing is interrupted. So I'll show you how to do that, and then plus play just some mellower licks that fit good with clean stuff, country or folk or blues, just on the lighter side of what we've already done. Okay, so nothing too difficult here. So most of you should get this with no problem. A lot of cool little licks coming your way. Some might be jazzy flavored. Just decide if you like them or not, okay? So the information will be here, and like I said, it's just a little mellower than before. Okay, so his original request was to do little tiny lead fills while he's singing and while he's playing the rhythm guitar. Okay, so let's just go straight to a G chord. I'm going to use a full G chord, meaning adding the D note, 3rd fret here at the B string, just to fill it up, instead of you do whatever you wish. I just prefer the fuller sound of a 4-note G chord over a 3-note. Okay, now basic lead fills for the key of G, and while you're playing that type of thing, are going to be these notes, and then we'll go ahead and put licks together. The notes will be, of course, the notes that you're already fretting, and then everything making up the chord. Now we're going to add in, I'm going to kind of do this explaining it kind of like tab. Okay, so you've got 3, you've got 2 here. Now you're also going to be able to use open on the D and 2, and you'll also be able to use the 3 when we go to a G7. Okay, for this, on my right hand, I'm going pull on my low E string, get it in tune. So I'm actually just creating a bass line. So you're doing the low E string, okay, with your chord going. Again, it's just ways of playing easy lead stuff while you're playing rhythm and without interrupting your rhythm. Okay, so it's just the low E string, up, down on your A string that's already fretted, up again, down on your D string, open, up again, yep, just coming up on your E and B string. Sometimes your G string is fine, it's open. Now 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret, open. Now we do a hammer on from open to 2 on the A string, then open D, okay, they're all ringing at the same time, then back to 3 on your low E. So there you get to start using right hand palm muting back here by the bridge, and get to use some creativity on your own, okay, which would be like I just showed you. Okay, so you just have to be creative with your phrasing. I'll show you a bunch of alternate things you can do as I think of them. Okay, so again, it doesn't have to be strictly just that walking bass line. Just get in there and be creative. If you're singing, just look for a break in your singing. I'm tired of this dirty old city. Okay, then when you get back here, I'm tired, too much work, never enough play. Kick him in right there. Just little bitty places in between your singing. Okay? Okay, that going up to that 3rd fret there on the D string is going to help you a lot. That's just going to be your G7 right before you go to a C chord. So you're doing, I'm just going to kind of hum through some stuff where there would be vocal lines. Spare us both the agony. Okay? Be like the boom 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 boom. Okay, so you got a lot of moving going on, and you can just add it in, and it does not disrupt your rhythm playing at all. It just adds to it, especially if you're the only guitarist in a single situation, a duo, a trio, or what have you. It's just a quick way to add some melody in there. Okay, picking up from there, other notes that we can add in. Going up on the G string now, of course, open. Okay, we still got our 2 fingers here from before. Of course, open and 2. Now here's the fun ones. Are going to be open on the B string, 1, 3, then E string, open, then, God, we can do them all. Let's go ahead and say them all. Open, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, because those are all possibilities. We won't hardly ever use all 3 at the same time, but I'll show you how to use all 3 of them in different circumstances. Okay, so using these while playing rhythm. Okay, we can also use, which I forgot, 3 and 4 on the G string. So I just did an open D, hammer on to the 2nd fret, open G, 2nd fret. Now I'm hitting the B string also, which is already fretted at the 3rd fret. Back to open. You can do that too. Slide from 2 to 4, but still put that 3rd fret back there again on the B string so it stays there, and also cover up the high E string. Okay, so you can choose whether you want to just play 2 notes or play 3, which is the remainder of your G chord. And another one that's cool, which I showed you, I said you could use the 1st fret of the B string. So let's do the G string with that hammer on the 2nd fret, and then the hammer on the 1st fret of the B string. sliding up 2 notes, or known as a double stop. Just means you're playing 2 notes. Don't read any more into the term double stop than, because you'll see it a lot, but it just means you're playing 2 notes at a time. And another double stop is an open G part of the chord, where you just simply do what I told you not to do earlier, and that is get rid of that note, the 3rd fret on the B string, and play it open like an old-fashioned G chord. Okay, so you can go and play the G string and the B string open before climbing up with your 2 and 1, and then your 4 and 3, which you can just easily slide into. Okay, now these are really cool, and again, before I forget, yes, you can, again, add that 3rd fret on the high E. Okay, these can be used in so many different ways. Double stops or not double stops. Okay. Okay, so playing them 1 note at a time, or again with the double stops. And now, while I'm here, I'm going to give you more. Just as it comes to me, it comes to you. We're going to go from this up a whole step, which is 2 frets. We're doing 1 pick motion down. So we slide it up and slide it back with everything continually ringing. So get a good grip on it, because you still got to hear both strings ringing when you're done, when you come back to the 3rd fret. Another cool one there is adding, yeah, it's just going to keep going, so be ready to use your rewind, because I'm going to throw as much at you as I can within this hour lesson. And that's adding your ring finger at the 5th fret on your B string as a hammer on for the 1st note. So you're hitting the E and the B string. Make sure you don't cover up the E string, because if you want to do that, then it would just be, so difference there. And if you're going to do this, decide whether you want the B string to be dominant sounding or the E string. They sound very different. Here's me picking downwards, so there's more pressure on the B string than there will be on the E string, so the B string will be louder. Now if I do an upstroke, your E string is going to be louder, but still doing the same thing. So 2 totally different effects. Here they are back to back. Okay? And what's also cool is doing one first and then the other. So here's the E string, B string. That in itself is a great lick in a slow mellow tune. Okay, now you just saw me do something else. You're like, man, this is a lot of stuff coming at me. Yeah, it's going to be. F, just move it up 2 frets. And that's what we're working out of right now. So use the F shape for this G chord. Okay, this is as high up as I'm going to take this G chord for now, which we've done. Okay, and then looking at an F chord moved up 2 frets, so it's a G. So now you have, you're like we do, yeah, that's from going. Now you get to do a hammer-on from 3 on your G string to 4. And then finish it up by finishing out your F shape G chord. So that's at the 5th fret on the G string. I'm sorry, the D string. Okay. Okay, or whatever works for you. You're like, what are you doing there? Basically using that hammer-on the G string as my pivot note or the accent note. That's the main thing I'll be concentrating at for just this little thing. And then pick any string but off of this F shape G chord. Better example here. Get my fingers out of the way of the other fingers. I know, hokey, but you get what I'm saying, or go it lower. Or coming right up. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, a lot of these are going to fly by real fast, then I will put them all together. Let's let some more fly by. A lot of these I've taught before. A lot of you people haven't seen my previous lessons. So, to make the entire lesson cohesive, I will not assume that you've seen any of my previous lessons. So, from this, just simply go up to 5 and 5 on your G and E. Okay, so we went. Okay. So you want to make it sound like you are starting where you kind of left off. So you want to, we started at hammering on from 3 to 4. Now we want to sound like we're taking off again from that 4th note. So let's slide it from that 4th note into 5 and 5. G string first. Then up pick on the E string. Slide the whole thing up 2 more frets. Or whatever sounds good to you. You can do what's called chromatic ascension here, or climbing up chromatically, which means going up 1 fret at a time from this section. So you have nice little what we call tension builder right there. Right here. It's just almost there. You know something's coming up. You've heard it now. And it helps everything fill out. What's great? What do you have right here? If you put your ring finger right here, then it finishes looking out like a D chord. So you have just put your ring finger here at the 8th fret on the B string. And that finishes out your G chord triad. Okay, so adding on and continuing. Now you have your pinky to play with. It's just right there. You can put it right underneath there on the 8th fret on your high E string and pull it off. So it's going from 8 to 7 on your high E string. Okay. Check this out. This is great. I'm going to show you a whole bunch of stuff, as you can tell, and then tie it together. Another place your pinky can go is from 7 to 9 on your G string, then your B string. It's a big stretch, but let's learn it. So there's 7 to 9 on your G, to 8 and 10 on your B. Now we're at 7 on your E, 8, and then finally 10. And we can move it all the way up to, which we'll do later. Okay, so that's a lot of stuff. Now let's put it to practical use. You're playing in G. Now we did the little bass walk thing. Whatever you want to do. Again, for a refresher. Okay, so just be creative with your phrasing. That sounds cool when you do that 3rd fret. Add the open G string. Just be creative. Use all these notes. And now we have. Now we can do this. This is open. And these are all the notes I've shown you. We're just going to toss them all in here now. Okay, open D, hammer on to 2 on your D string, then open G. Nice easy rotating picking here. Added 1 extra note. Same thing, D string and G string, identical. Now I just did the 2nd fret of the D string. Okay, now if you want to do that, showed you double stops. We can go and make a similar thing, but it's very cool sounding. Let's try this one. I'll make it easier. We'll still do the open D and open G. Only hammer onto the D string 2nd fret. Now G and B together. 8 open. Okay, so we're going 1 and 2 and going up a whole step or 2 frets. So 1 and 2 up to 3 and 4. That's going to be the whole phrase. So here again. However you want to do it. Or whatever you want to do. Everything's going to be happening on the 2nd fret, coming on down towards your low string. If you choose to do so. But that sounds great during your rhythm while you're singing, or as a phrasing between your singing. What was that? Same thing, different phrasing. Okay, just great. And then you sing again. That was just doing 3 and 3 on your top 2 strings, your E and your B string, and going up to 5 and going back and forth, just landing on your root notes here. Okay, those always sound great when you're doing these other double stops. Okay, so with rhythm, now we have lead at the same time, a whole bunch of it. I'll do what we have done so far and add those in. My bad. Here it is correct and sounding great. And that's where I showed you how to do this. Come back to here, sounds great. Or then, which I showed you also. Okay, so just a bunch of nifty ideas that you can toss in, and you're still playing rhythm while it's going on. You're like, I wasn't playing rhythm up here. Oh, good point. Okay, let's keep you playing rhythm while that's going on. Okay, so you can still leave your D string and your G string ringing open right now, because they're all part of the G chord. There we have still an open D string and an open B string from an open G chord. We're taking up two of those, or one of them anyway, your G string. We still have an open D string and an open B string to be able to still play open rhythm chords with. So it's not out of character at all to be able to play all of that and more. It's only limited to your imagination. So those are just some of the notes you can play with the G. Okay, and don't forget, if you get good at bending notes, get good at bending the notes. If you have this note here, just like we're, get good at bending and bend that note up to that note, and it will just increase your palette of licks to choose from. Okay, and then we're just picking that note we had from here, choosing it and picking it, but that's where we start getting into other lead stuff that will sound very good while playing rhythm. That was just taking it, but bending them. So doing it, and then, so think those through. That'll be a lot of good brain work for some of you folks, to take these notes and see what the next note up would have been. So that one, that was the next note I showed you, so it has to be right. That note has to be bent, but generally you're going to have to bend with one of your either your ring finger or your middle finger. They are just good, strong fingers. If you need to, put another finger or two behind it. There's nothing wrong with putting 3 fingers on one string if you need to. That just helps with the strength. You're going to be like, I can't bend that all the way up. You have more fingers. Use them. Use them for strength. I do it all the time, you know. Right there I've got what I normally play, so I've got 2 fingers here helping me. I can put the 3rd one there. So don't ever let the fact that your finger hurts get in the way. Put in reinforcements. Put them in there. You've got more than one finger, most of you, and put them to use. Okay, so that'll be a real good mission for a lot of you that aren't used to bending stuff, especially while playing rhythm. Okay, is to try to add just a few bends here and there. Again, in the G, that G string is great at the 2nd fret. Try to bend it up to the 4th. And the tougher one, being the 3rd fret on the B string, while keeping the 3rd fret on the E string there. You don't bend that E string, so grab at least another finger on that B string to help you make that bend, because it has to go from D note all the way up to that E note. And of course that's your country stuff, but it sounds great. Even in faster songs, it's just a common, very common lead lick. Do, 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 looking at my back door. You're like, what's that? I've showed this a lot, but again, it's just the same notes. It's just up to you to find these and be creative. I told you you could do the 3rd fret on the G string and the 4th, but and we did the G. If you go open, 2, 3 on your D string, that gives you a G7, so you're getting ready to go to your C chord. But for this, it just lets us know that yes, we can use 3, 2, open on your G string and 3, 2, open on your D string. This is a little recreational bonus stuff for later, but again, if you can get this in, it's only one pick movement, one pick stroke over here, that we do 2 pull-offs. Same thing on the D string. Then you get good at doing those over and over and over and faster and faster. Okay, so then you got again, I showed you those. Okay, so all the licks you have heard all your life, I've actually showed you the notes for all of them. It's just a matter for you to just explore and put them in different orders. Okay? There's so many different orders once you just start changing them from what I've shown you, and like maybe play everything I showed you backwards. You'll figure out all the other ones that you've heard your whole life. Okay? So just great stuff to play as individual notes when you're not singing. So for that quick little fill, okay, so you can do just a couple notes as fills right between your singing or whoever is singing. So just that's all it needs. Sometimes one note's really cool, like that little bend. Only play that one note. but don't even hit the open G. Okay, listen. Just play one note, it sounds great. Okay, so all these other ones I'm showing you, man, you've got enough for 30 songs already. Okay, so work with those with and without singing. Use some of them for fills. Same thing as the notes I've shown you. That's just a different phrasing. And when I showed you this, same thing. It's just the same thing. So there's B, A, G. Spells bag. It's actually a B flat. So work out octaves, an octave higher. Okay, so there you go. Let's get to C. Okay, we've only got 20 minutes left, but I just wanted to show you there was so many to do in G already. Let's go up to the C. So like I said, do any form of a G7 if you like that sound, especially in country. Then C. Okay, so that was just given, you put an F note in with a G chord, or you played G7s this way where you have to change them up. Whatever, but at least with the way I showed you, you have something moving and sounding more interesting. Okay, let's put in some notes with this. Now the great thing to know about this, when you go to the C, or the very next chord, which is, if you know any theory at all, which will be the 4 chord. First one's the 1, and the C is the 4 chord, based on a major scale starting from the G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 is back to 1, which is back to do, a deer, a female deer. That's right. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, 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 do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 is G. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a C. So that's our 4 chord. Then our 5 chord. 1 is a D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sure enough, that's a D note. So our 5 chord. 1, 4, and 5. 1. And the 7th of the 1. And here's the 4 chord. Back to the 1. 5 chord. And I went to a 7th on the D, or on the 5 chord. Right before I went to the G. Okay, so let's get up to that C chord, and we got there via a 7th chord. You can choose whether to use it or not, or any other tasty little licks we put in. Now we're in C. You can use the licks I'm going to show you. You'll notice that most of these, 9 out of 10, you can use exactly what I've already shown you in the 1 chord or in the G. You'll be able to do that with all songs. Okay? You'll always be able to play whatever you played over the 1 chord, which is the key the song is in. It's not always going to be G. Just whatever key the song is you're playing, that will be the 1 chord. So if you're in A, that's the 1 chord. Now the 4 chord's going to change. It's going to be whatever, counting up from the do, re, mi thing, but counting 4. So we're starting at A. That's the new 1 chord. Now I got to find the 4 chord. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the 4 chord is going to be a D, and the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's an E note, so our 5th chord is going to be an E. So we're going to have A7 if you want, D, back to A, to your 5 chord, E. Okay, so anyway, that was just a quick example of theory and how that kind of works with the whole major scale and the do re mi thing. So we went back to our regular G, and we went up to C. When we're in that C or the 4 thing, again we can use 9 out of the 10 notes that were in that whole G mess that I showed you. So even though we went from G, you've got all these great things I've already showed you, but you're like, now I gotta go and learn all new stuff when he goes to C. No, you don't. It's the same stuff. So you can use the same things. Remember this for the rest of your life. You can use all the same things that you did during the 1 or the root note or the key of the song, whatever you want to call that. When you go to the 4 chord or the next chord down, you can use every single note except for 1 or 2, and you'll find those clunkers as you're clunking around, and by making the mistake you'll realize which 1 or 2 notes you can't use. But let's get the ones over the actual C chord, so when we're actually playing rhythm, so we can get back on track with the request, which was to do as much lead work while we have that chord down and while we're playing rhythm. Okay, so when you're in C, you have the same options. It's just going to look different because your 2 fingers have moved from there to there. Same thing, just down 1 string. So G, C, G, C. Okay, but if you use a C this way, almost everything is the same. Okay, again, you still have open D, hammer on, and then your open G, okay, because it's part of the chord. Okay, so you're doing the C chord, then hammer on, open D, and you're just simply putting your finger back where it belongs in the chord, and then hit the open G, which is part of the chord too, so it makes all the sense in the world. It's always great to have sometimes just go back 1 fret, so the B, but going from 2 to 3 back to your C note. It just kind of establishes again that you're checking back into home plate here. First one there I did that time was simply what we did before. Hammer on from open G to the 2nd fret, then take it off. But I'm playing that C note, first fret here on the B string, because it sounds like a big chord. Might as well throw in the E string too. Now the D string and the G string together. Now the A string and the D string together, but I'm going to go to the 2nd fret. And then right back to my C chord. Okay? Okay, while you're also here, don't forget, same stuff. So 2nd fret or open D string, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, and G string open, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, exactly the same as when we were in G. Okay, but here it is as an example while we're playing rhythm in this over the C chord. mess with those. You don't always have to go up to that 3rd fret. Just go to the 2nd, play with those, play with the 3rd ones, play with whatever. And you'll find that those little things by themselves work great behind your vocals. And you're singing. And you're singing. When I played those, I wasn't singing. Okay, so again, I'm keeping true to the lesson itself, putting in fills, which are those things, just when you have a little lead guitar break, that's known as a fill. F-I-L-L, not a person named Phil. Okay, and you can keep playing rhythm guitar. Okay, and the other notes, same as before. Okay, we can go with this chord from the B string. We can add our pinky to the 3rd fret of the B string. That's actually called a C suspended 2nd, if you want to know. If you want to know why, it's because we're starting on the C and doing the scale again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So C, next note is your 2nd, if you're counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So C suspended, which means add a 2, which means 2nd. C suspended 2nd. Okay, know that you can put your pinky on any of the 3rd frets, on any string, while you're in C. They will just accomplish, of course, different things. That's adding it to the D string. Adding it to the E, adding it to the B string, and we get a C7 if we add it to the G string. Okay, but all of them are perfectly usable. Okay, you can't mess up by putting your pinky on any string when you're playing C chord on the 3rd fret. Okay, another nice one. If you can get it down to 3, 2, 1 is going to be weird, but and then open, of course. But going from 3 to 2 is kind of nice. So you're just going from 3, 2, now open, now 3 on the B string, now 1 on the B string because it's already there. Pick it up, put it back down and bring one finger down, so you got 2 on the G string. Take it off. Then 3 on the D string because you can play anything. Then lift it off and you're back to 2 on the D string. So a lot of stuff can be happening here, a lot of movement. Okay, so lots of stuff. Same things before. Everything I showed you on the G you can use here. C, there's a slightly different pattern you can use. It's just like this one before we used in G, except for this one is slightly different in that you have your first finger at the 1st fret on the B string and you're playing your B and E strings. Now you're going to 1 and 3 on your E and B strings, and then up a whole step to 3 and 5, back down. And so the only difference between the two is in G you're able to play open strings, than these. They're different. But here, it's, and you skip a string, so you're doing this a little further reach. Okay, so in C, stuff to move with, plus if you want to do that C thing just like the G where we did it open and did this, you would actually have to do it just like you have open G notes here, but you'd have to take the whole thing up to the 5th fret. And if you play the D, G, and B string together on the 5th fret, that gives you a C chord. Same thing. Okay? No difference. So now you would play that being like you would the open one from the G. And now, treat it the same, so you have to use different fingers, but play it just like you did the G one. So it would be this, then. Remember I told you you could do that chromatic word every fret. Or do it here. They're exactly the same. Okay, so there's some stuff with C. Again, remember you can do everything that you did in G while you're playing a C chord. Okay, now in D, really quickly, because that's the other chord left in this particular chord progression, meaning three chords in this song that has no name. Okay, so you have your D, that's open A, hammer on to the 2nd fret. Then open D. Okay, that there alone is cool. That is a quickie. That's open to 4 on the A string, then D string, and then hurry up and get to your D chord. Okay, so that one's cool. Okay, up to G. Okay, so nice little lick for all kinds of keys. Okay, so we're in D. These are cool. Again, same as in C where we did. Do that same thing, but bring it up here to D. So you got 3 and 2, 5 and 3, then 7 and 5. Chromatic. Okay, now here's a really cool quickie. Okay, so you might want to use rewind. Is for D, I showed you open D, 2, 4. Now we can actually go to open G, then finally 2 on your G string, sorry, fret number 2, because we're back to D. Okay, so we got 2, 4 on the G string, open 2, 4. Now we can actually do 2, and then finally back to 3, because it's part of the chord on your B string. Continue to use that if you want. And 5, which is the same as open E if you want to take off your middle finger. Then 2nd fret on the E string, pinky directly under there, 3rd fret, and finally up to 5th if you can stretch it. You'll be able to eventually, if not today. Just some great sounding stuff there. Just watch this. lots of places to go with that D chord. Okay, so you get to figure those out, play them like I showed you on the G one, and then how I showed you play them on the C. But now take the whole thing up 2 frets. Even this one. You'll figure it out on your own. It's very easy. It's exactly what we did in C. You're just bringing the whole thing up 2 frets. From here to here, or from here. If you took this whole thing up 2 frets, it's ugly, but if you put a finger down and still made that C chord, then it would be like a capo, and you got your C chord. Now it makes it a D. So now you can actually play everything just like you did with C. So give that a workout too. Okay, so then all that stuff that we could play before in C, that's a toughie, but that's your ultimate goal for this particular lesson, is to learn to play that chord. So it's the C chord. Say you had your first finger chopped off. I know a lot of you do out there. I chopped that finger off when I was 13. But pretend like you don't have that finger. Make that C chord. Okay, so that finger's gone. Move it up 1, 2 frets. And then put that finger down across 5 or 6 strings and try to play that whole chord. So there's your D chord, and you can play all the stuff we played before. To E, to F, to G, to A, to B, to C, all the way back up to D. Okay? Okay, so there you go. A lot of stuff to work on. Try to play rhythm and lead at the same time. So there you go. A lot of stuff just to keep you busy. Once again, I am Scott Grove, Dr. Groovy of GroovyMusicLessons.com. So again, from a good buddy out there, there's a mellow version of how to play rhythm and lead at the same time and be able to do it with every single note I showed you. So a lot of it is going to be up to you now to piece all the pieces together. But you can, without ever interrupting any of those chords, play every note I showed you and still keep that rhythm hand going non-stop as you normally would. Or you can pick out the same things I showed you and use them as little fill licks between your vocal lines, or again spice up your rhythm without ever interrupting your strumming, because every one of those little things will work as rhythm, but it just makes it a lot more flavorful, a lot more fun, a lot more interesting to the audience's ear. So you guys play well, and happy experimenting with a lot of those, trying to get them in other keys and so forth. Okay, you guys take care, and see you next time. Bye bye.